Hello, Dave Hill here. Welcome to the lesson. This is chapter 19. Okay, I know you've been having lots of fun. We've been practicing hard. Things are going good. You're probably starting to feel some chops coming together on your guitar, and that's great. However, I want to make sure you guys are going back and reviewing lessons if you feel like you haven't got something together and there's some piece of knowledge that was given out in a lesson and you feel compelled to keep going on to check out new lessons. That's okay, but make sure you go back and review stuff, because just because I'm showing you different things every lesson, that doesn't necessarily mean that I expect you to learn it all after you just basically go through it once or twice. You got to review a lot. Okay, so we're gonna spend some time working on some major scales this lesson, and just go over just two patterns, just to show you. Even though we've talked about a lot of patterns, we've talked about all 5 of them by now. I want to show you how you can, even just with 2 shapes on your guitar, really practice and kind of break down the patterns and see how well they connect together, or see where the challenges lie in doing that. Okay, so the 2 patterns we're going to talk about are pattern 4 from the C major scale and also pattern 2 from the C major scale. Okay, but I might put one of those 2 patterns in a different key just to kind of make you hear a modulation somewhere. Okay, so we already know this pattern right here, and you've been practicing staying in one position with all patterns after a while, but let's just take a moment here and review this again. Okay, let's do it in one of our new sequences that we learned a few weeks ago, or a few lessons ago, and that was fourths. You remember this one? Okay, we've done that before, but let's just go all the way up the pattern and play this one in fourths now. Okay? 3, 4. Back down. Okay, we're going to do that with the metronome now. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so that's one of the other sequences that I want you to practice, and I want you to keep reviewing that. Okay, we've done thirds and fourths now. You could also do fourths even in this pattern if you'd like. But the point is, you do these every day, and you get skill out of the technical work of practicing sequences. Okay, now let's just say, for example, we're going to use these 2 patterns together. It's pattern 2 and this pattern right here, but we're going to stay in one position and see how well we can gravitate or navigate back and forth between those 2 positions. Okay, and put them in 2 different keys for you, because sometimes you can practice all 5 keys like we've done before in that progression in the back of the board there. We've done that before, but I was thinking about it, and I want you to focus on just playing a couple of patterns for a few lessons here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a little progression up for us that's going to give us a challenge of playing from this position of a major scale to this position of a major scale. But I'm going to put the second position of the major scale in the key of E, just to make you hear a modulation. Okay, so I've got a little groove going here, but I'm gonna record my chords right here in front of you so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't that cool? Right there in front of you, I recorded that. Okay. I'm going to put a little bass line on top of that now. There's my groove right now, okay? Now I'm going to show you how to play on top of that. Okay, here's C major, right? Okay, so I don't know if you were checking out my hands carefully, but all I was doing was staying in one position of my neck right here. I could have played a lot more up and down the neck, okay? But the practice that I'm trying to get you to learn today is to force yourself to just focus on two patterns, but make the two patterns in different keys, okay? The reason I want you to make them in different keys rather than just staying in C here and doing C right here is because I want you to hear when you change key. I want you to really know that there's a modulation happening, so you have to do something, so you just can't hang on one pattern. I want you to react to it and listen to it, okay? So if at home it's too difficult for you to make it that fast, and make that same progression up, okay? But just double the chords up. You could do like this. You could go, oop, not with that sound maybe. You could go, and then do it again. And then go to the next chord. That way you have 4 measures of each key. Okay, that way it'll be easier to maybe make the key changes happen. Wow. Custom service from Starbucks. Way to go. Thank you. I could use this. This is refreshing. Thank you, Frankenstein. Thank you. Refreshing iced coffee. Okay, let's do this again. And I'm gonna make it interactive with you. I'm gonna play one of the two keys. I tell you what, I'm gonna let you play C major. Every time C major comes up in my progression, in fact, I'll even write it on the board for you so you can see what the progression is, just so it's convenient for you. First chord is C major, and I'm actually playing C major 7th, just to be clear here. And that happens for 2 measures. And then it goes to E major 7 for 2 measures. Okay? And every time this happens, you play. Okay? And then every time the key of E comes in, I'm going to play. Okay? So it'll be clear who's going to play where. I'm going to get out of the way so you can see when you're supposed to play. Okay? So I'm going to give you the key of C, and then I'm going to play in the key of E and come back with you. Okay? So here we go. To your turn. Now here I come. Your turn. My turn. Your turn. My turn. Your turn. Okay, now we're going to swap. Now I'm going to play the C part. Here we go. Your turn. Okay, I'm going to play another melody. See if you can hear it. You know that one. You can play that on the next chord. All right? So you can do a sequence. Right like that. Okay, I'm going to keep going. You keep going. Da ba da ba da ba 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 ba. Your turn. Okay. Isn't that fun? Turn. Okay. Okay. So, you can make it challenging for yourself in a lot of ways doing stuff like that, even with someone else, like we're doing together here today. You can do it with a friend. You can do it with another musician playing over a track like this, or you can do it with another instrument that can play chords and you can back each other up. But what I'm trying to also show you is that if you play a musical idea on one of the two chords, sometimes what sounds really nice is to follow it up on the next chord with a similar idea that ties the two ideas together. So if I went, and I did a number of times when I was playing, I played something that was almost like a scale sequence. I went, you know. Now, when you go to the E chord, right? It's nice to try to practice to see if you can connect any melody that you come up with on the next chord and kind of reproduce it over the next pattern. In this case, pattern 2. Okay? It just ties the themes together. Okay? So that's kind of a fun way to practice. Okay? So I want you to do that at home. In any combination of chords. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off with one more progression, and I'm going to write it on the board. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to write it down. Okay, great. That gave me time to write the progression out, and now I have it on the board here. And what I've done, as you recall in that first warm-up exercise, what we were doing is we were going back and forth between the key of C major and E major, right? We were going back between this pattern of C major and this pattern of E major. So we really just played two major scale patterns, these two over here. And you can see what these are the two patterns that I'm having you focus on, okay? But what I decided to do when I took the break there and wrote the progression out is to kind of give you a little bit more of a feeling of a flow here. So what I wrote out is a progression that sounds a little bit more like a song, okay? So now I have the key of C expressed with two chords. I have the 4 chord in the key of C going to the 1 chord. Okay, so there's a little bit of movement within the key. Okay, so I figured that would give your ear some sense of melody to go for. Okay, so then we go back to the 4 chord. Okay, so I'm going to write here C major all the way through here. Okay, now what happens when you go to the B chord here? What happens? Or what's the purpose of the B? It's to make us go to the key of E, which is the other key that we were practicing. Okay? So that works out perfect because now it sets up the key of E right here. And we're basically playing E major all the way through this part of the progression. This is all E major. Okay? All the way down to here, E major, until we hit this chord right here, which brings us back to C major. And then we go back to the top, and that's where we start over again. Okay? So what I did is I tried to make something that gave you the same two keys, but now you have some different chords in those keys, so you can, hopefully your ear will start to get more accustomed to making melodies by hearing chord harmony to move to and move through. Okay, that's the whole purpose of this. I don't want to just have this sound like exercises. Remember, we talked about at the very beginning of our lessons what my concepts were, and my concepts are to try to make this musical and fun for you. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, make sure that you have these chords at home too. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't, but let's just review them. If you had, for example, a major chord here, and you wanted to make it a major 7th chord, I think I've shown you this before, but all you have to do is bring this note into the chord, and it's possible because we've got extra roots anyway, so we'll just sacrifice one of the roots and bring it into the major 7th, and then we have a nice, a little bit more colorful chord of F major 7. Okay, this chord right here could be brought into a major 7 sound by simply picking up the bar here and now just using these two notes here on the 9th fret to get the B, the major 7th, the 3rd here, the 5th there on the top, and then you've got your C major 7. Okay, so we've got F major 7 to C major 7, and then the modulation chord brings us into the key of E major, going to A major. And I can just use the same voicings that I used here for these two chords, for E and A. Okay? So here, let's listen to what it sounds like, and we'll see what we got here. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, here comes B. Here comes A. We're still in the key of E though. Back to C, here we go. Now here's the scale I would play. C major, right? I'm playing through the key, I'm just using the major scale. Melodies out of the major scale. Okay, you go ahead and play along with that. All right, sounds good. Back to C. Okay, here comes E. Okay, one more time, here we go. Try to let your ear take you to nice melodies. Here we go, back to the top. All right, so there you have it. All we did today was just review major scales, but we made it really musical by making a progression up that takes your ear through a little journey through those two major scale patterns that we used in two different keys. Okay, so you can continue to practice this and get a lot out of this if you keep doing it. Maybe in a different day, maybe in a different position. Maybe you could do C major down here, and then E major could be right here. So you go back and forth between C major and E major here. Or you could do C major here and E major here. You know 5 shapes. It's just a matter of working out just maybe 2 positions for a couple days, maybe a week, however long it takes to really wire. What I mean by that is really learn really well 2 positions and then move to another part of the neck and do 2 more positions. That's okay to practice that way too. Okay, I'll see you next time. I hope you had fun, and I'll talk to you later.